Hey guys, it's Danny. Okay, so sorry I didn't post anything yesterday, but let me tell you a funny story. So on Saturday there was a party, and at that party I found a bottle of wine. The end. So yeah, I did you a favor. So anyway, yesterday I wanted to talk about how to purchase a Phalaenopsis orchid because it was a requested video. We're gonna do that, but since we're talking about purchasing orchids, I got new orchids. Every week I'm getting new orchids, which is so cool. Very exciting. So let me show you what I got. It's nothing super fancy, but I think it's quite special. Yet another Miltoniopsis. Yes, I went back to that store for the yellow Oncidium actually, and it really didn't look all that great. It was not discounted, the orchid didn't look good, flowers were all spotted, but I found this Miltoniopsis. Now, I will show you 3 orchids, but 2 of them are potential mistakes, as you will see, and this is one of them. Now, this is a Miltoniopsis I don't see very often due to its shape. Hope you can see it's not very pansy looking like. It's more of a star looking like a Miltonia. But it's not. It is a Miltoniopsis. Shape-wise, it looks a little bit like a species, like the Roselli, if this is how you pronounce it, but it's not that one. Haven't been able to identify it just yet, but it is just as fragrant, just as pretty and beautiful. Not very colorful, but the shape of the flowers is really pretty in comparison to my other ones. Now look how rounded that one is. And then look at this one. There's quite the difference in between the flowers, so she was kind of lonely there. What was I supposed to do? Just leave it there? No, I took it. And I'll see what's gonna happen. I don't have great expectations because let me show you. So if you look at the orchid, you might say it looks kinda okay. There's nothing really wrong with it. It has some flowers, kinda old flowers, but it looks okay. Wrong. Do you see these little ridges on the pseudobulb? That's not a good sign with Miltoniopsis. It tells me there's a hydration problem, and that's a serious problem with Miltoniopsis. Also, look at this. Well, that's not good either. That tells me that the root system is really not in good condition. And we're gonna go and repot this one pretty soon, even though I intended to leave them to finish their flowers and all of that, do things properly. But this one, not looking all that great. I suspect quite the big problems with the root system. So this is not necessarily the best looking orchid. It's really not my first choice when it comes to choosing healthy orchids, since we're gonna be talking about that. But I knew the risks, I decided to get it, and we'll see what happens. Because I really didn't see this type of Miltoniopsis way too often. I'll give it. It's not the most colorful one or, waterfally pattern like type of a Miltoniopsis, but she really is pretty. She was lonely, so I decided to get it. Okay, so this is the first potential big mistake. Let me show you the second one. Ta-da! What do we have here? Let's rotate this a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but this orchid has a tremendous number of flowers. And yes, it is a Phalaenopsis. The flowers are super tiny on it, but it has so many flowers. Again, no ID for this one. I just find it under the name of Multiflora, and it is a type of a Multiflora hybrid, and judging by the name, you know what this means. It has the potential to create a lot of flowers. It has 2 flower spikes that are branchy. I had something similar to this one in the past, but it was a faulty hybrid. I'll tell you all about it. So when I saw it, I just needed to get it. It was the only one. I do enjoy tiny flowers a lot on an orchid, and even though I'm not a big fan of Phalaenopsis orchid, particularly this display with their flower spikes all staked and all, I really don't like this. I'll give it. When I train them in the waterfall type of cascading type of spikes, I really like them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll add a link in the description and in an info card right here on training Phalaenopsis flower spikes. They can be trained kinda to look like a cascade of blooms, all turned in the same direction, not facing every each way. I find it a lot more appealing, and that's what I intend to do with my Phalaenopsis this year. And when they look like that, yeah, I kind of like them. They're not fragrant, they're phals, everybody has phals, but not many people have the cascading spikes, do they? So yeah, that's what I intend to do. And when I saw this one, I just envisioned it, this really tree-like shape of a cascade of tree looking like branches and flowers. Does that make any sense? Not really, but in my mind it looks really pretty, so I just needed to get it. Problem is, this orchid is a little sick. Oh, okay, let me turn her so you see what I mean. So right off the bat, you can see there's something a little weird about it. She's really not centered in the pot. She's growing sideways, or actually she fell out of the pot. Maybe at some point somebody just plugged her back in. The medium looks very old and damaged. But more importantly, look at the stem. Now, I don't know if that is the beginning of stem rot or not, or just one of the older leaves falling. I'll give it the leaves don't look in perfect condition either. I will have to clean them. Also right here in the crown, even if the crown is not affected and I see a tiny new leaf there, that'll probably grow after she's done with blooming, I see some fungal spots. Now, this is usually cold damage, or some of my orchids suffered from cold damage that looked like this. On the pseudobulbs or on the leaves, the sunken brown spots. You see them? I think this is cold damage, and it's in the crown, which is kind of suspicious because it must mean that water fell in there. So somebody must have watered them from above, and if so, I don't know what's going on with the stem. Even more reason for me to think that the stem might have an issue. And as you might know, I really don't know how to treat stem rot elegantly without toxic stuff. So that's why I was saying this one is problematic, potentially a mistake, but she was the only one. I am well aware of her situation. I bought it knowing she might be sick, and we'll see what happens in the future. You can see here she has some blue spots. I bet you this came from a dyed orchid. The blue Phalaenopsis orchids that are actually artificially dyed. Again, I don't have an ID for this one. She looks a little bit like the Sogo berry, a little bit like Zuma's pixie, but that's tinier. It might be a hybrid of some sorts of those ones, but she is a multiflora and one of the best multifloras that I've ever seen. And of course, she's not facing the camera. There we go. So all in all, I think she's worth giving a go. I really don't know what's gonna happen since that stem looks suspicious. If it were root rot, I would be totally fine. Even crown rot, I would be kind of fine with it, but stem rot? I really hope it's not the case. But of course, I'll keep you up to date. Maybe we'll make a repotting and a checkup of this orchid together in a video. Would you be interested in that? Maybe we can find the source of her ill-being. Maybe she was just mistreated. I don't know. I hope we can find out. So let me know down below if you're interested in one of those videos in which take an orchid, examine it, check it out. Maybe I can share some useful tips if you're interested. Anyway, let's look at the third orchid. And this is actually a healthy orchid. Now, my boyfriend likes Phalaenopsis orchids. Now, nobody's perfect, okay? I still love him. So when he saw this one, he really insisted that I get it because it's really pretty, and he didn't see many of these around. I kind of did, but I have to say this one is actually really pretty. I don't have an ID again for it, but she is a sort of a harlequin hybrid, pretty decent flowers on it. The lip is yellow, which is a bonus. It's a nice feature. I didn't see this contrast a lot. And also take a look at the lip. Do you see how dark that little section of the lip is? Again, that's a feature I don't see very often, but overall she's kind of a typical hybrid, not hard to find and all of that. But yeah, if I imagine this orchid being cascadey, yeah, she's gonna be pretty. Now here's the difference. This is how a Phalaenopsis should kind of look like. Do you see the stem yellowing in any way? No. The stem is green, it's nice, does not have any spots on the leaves, the roots look okay, they look decent. The medium doesn't look like it fell, it doesn't look breakdown, so this is the type of orchid that is a safer choice rather than this one. So if I were into Phalaenopsis more, this is the type of orchid I would go for. The leaves are very stiff, she's not dehydrated, no sunburns, no other spots. Also, the flowers do not have botrytis. Botrytis doesn't really mean your plant is sick, but it makes for really ugly flowers. And also the flowers will potentially not last as long. So overall, this is a perfect purchase. It wasn't really expensive either, but we'll talk more about how to purchase Phalaenopsis in a different video. But I have to say that if I manage to save this one, I will be really happy. Now let me tell you what happened with my older one. I had something similar. It wasn't exactly the same, but it was a multifloral, similar tiny flowers. When I purchased it, it only had a few flowers open and the rest of them were buds. When I took it home, all the buds fell. And I thought, well, she's just adjusting to my environment, it's pretty normal. I waited another year. She created another spike, some more buds that fell before they even actually opened. I think I had 1 or 2 flowers opening. And then I thought maybe it's the low temperatures, maybe this is a sort of an equestrian hybrid. So I waited another year, and the following year I kept her quite warm. Same thing happened, the buds blasted, and I just couldn't take it anymore. It was a faulty hybrid actually. The orchid was super healthy, it was fed, it was cared for properly, it was not dehydrated, no reason for it to bud blast, but it did. So that was a faulty hybrid, and I really hope this is not that faulty hybrid, because I really fought for that one, even if it was a Phalaenopsis, and I was really disappointed. So if we manage to save this one, we're good. I'm gonna be a happy puppy. And there we go. These are the 3 new orchids that I purchased in the last few days. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. And by the way, if you have any ideas for these ones, let me know in the comments below. I would appreciate it. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel for daily orchid and plants videos, except when we throw parties. And also remember to turn on notifications, because otherwise I'm not sure if you're gonna see my videos in your notification feed. YouTube is a little crazy lately. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye! So it's kind of common knowledge that Aranjus orchids take a lot of time before you actually see blooms. The flower spikes grow slow, the buds develop slow. Well, I have to say this one is kind of in a hurry. I don't know, I have it for a month and a half already, and I'm already starting to see buds. Do you think I'm gonna see this one in bloom like in spring or something, or do I really need to wait 1 year? I know one thing about orchids, they're really misleading.